First one, what type of what kind of data a variable can hold. Second one, first one is what kind of data a variable can hold. Next, how much memory space is required. Third one is what type of operations we can perform. That's it. A data type of a variable describes three things. One is what kind of data a variable can hold, how much memory space is required. So depending on the memory space requirement, we can calculate the range also. So what type of operations we can perform on that particular variable. So for example, if two operands are float type, then you cannot perform modulo operation. It's not possible. So these three things are described by the data type of a variable. So here int x equal to 10, x is of integer type, it can hold only integer value. So how much memory space is required? Actually, it depends on the particular computer or that environment. If it is a 16-bit computer, let us say it is 2 bytes. So how much memory space is required? 2 bytes required. Then what is the range of the values? Minus 2 power, if a data type, it occupies, it requires n bits, then the range is minus 2 power n minus 1 to plus 2 power n minus 1 minus 1. So using the formula, you can calculate that one. Next, what type of operations we can perform? So you can perform addition, subtraction, right? You can perform those type of operations. That's it. Data type of a variable describes these things. Now in C language, what are the different data types available in C language? So in C language, the data types are broadly categorized into three types. One is primitive. First one is primitive type. Primitive type means fundamental type. So primitive type we have integer, char, float, int, char, float, double. Next one is wide. Total 5 data types. Wide is also one data type, that is a primitive data type. Next one is derived data type. So in derived data types, we have arrays, array, pointer, string. So these data types are called derived data types. Next one is user defined data type. User defined data types. In user defined data type, struct, union. Next one is type def, enum. So these are called user defined data types. This is the broad classification of data types. C data types. First is primitive data types, integer, char, float, double, and wide. Derived data types. Next one is user defined data types. So first, in primitive data types, there are numeric and non-numeric data types. Integer, float, double, and char. We have different data types. So first one is integer data type. So in integer data type, we have short int. Here you can use some modifiers like signed and unsigned, and short, long. These are called modifiers. So in integer we have signed and unsigned. So in signed we have again short and long. Short and long are called size qualifiers. Signed and unsigned, sign qualifiers. So again we have short. In unsigned we have short and long. That's it. Okay. So integer can be signed short int, signed long int, unsigned short int, and unsigned long int. That's it. That is the classification of integer type. So by default, any integer type is signed and short. For example, I declare int x equal to 10. Here, so no modifier is specified here. So just simply I declare int of x. So by default, it is signed and it is short. So this declaration is same as short of x, signed short of x. Same. All these three declarations are same. Okay. Int or else short int, short or signed short int. So all these three declarations are same. Okay. So here range can be calculated. So if a data type occupies n bits, then the range for signed is minus 2 power n minus 1 to plus 2 power n minus 1 minus 1. In unsigned, 0 to 2 to the power of n minus 1, because the most significant bit is used to store the signed numbers. Signed numbers allows both positive and negative. Unsigned numbers allows only positive numbers plus 0. That's signed and unsigned. That is the classification of integer type. Next one is char type. So char type, it needs 1 byte of memory, 8 bits. So the range is minus 128 to plus 128. So your char type, it's somewhat confusing to many people. So actually, to represent the characters in the computer memory, so you cannot represent the character as it is. For example, every key on the keyboard, it represents a character. For example, A, space, enter, anything. Every character, every key on the keyboard, it represents a character. For every character, there is a fixed integer that is called as ASCII value. ASCII values for every character, we have some fixed integer values which are called ASCII values. Those are fixed. So actually, internally, these characters are represented as numbers. So here, char, we have two types. One is signed char, second one is unsigned char. So then you may get some doubt. Sir, characters internally represented integers, and those are ASCII values. But ASCII values are only positive values, now 0 to 255. So all ASCII values, they are in the range from 0 to 255. Then how come it happened that negative characters? Actually, characters are internally represented as integers. That's why we have signed char and unsigned char. The reason is we have signed and unsigned integers. That's why we have signed char and unsigned char, because every character that is internally represented as integer. But there is no character where its ASCII value is negative value. Actually, in interviews, they may confuse you like that. So actually, there are no character with negative ASCII value. But why characters are signed? That is the actual question in interview. So you must answer internally. Characters are represented integers. In integers, we have a signed and unsigned. That's why characters range also we represent in signed and unsigned form. But actually, there is no character with negative ASCII value. That is the answer for this logical question. Okay. So unsigned char, the range is 0 to 255. So that means we have 256 characters. You know what is the equivalent character? 0. ASCII value 0, the equivalent character is /0. String termination character. I think you know this one, null character. Okay. Null character /0, its ASCII value is 0. ASCII value of null character is 0. Okay. ASCII value of for any character /n new line, its ASCII value is 10. ASCII value is 10. For example, what is the equivalent character of ASCII value 1? If 1 is the ASCII value, its character for which what is the character with ASCII value 1? Smile face. Some ASCII values also you have to remember. They might ask some to write. So 3, it is hearts. 4, diamond. Okay. 32, I think 32 is space bar. So these are some important ASCII values. Okay. ASCII value 1 smile face, 3 is hearts, 4 is diamond, 32 space, new line /n. Its ASCII value is 10, /0 null character, string termination character, its ASCII value is 0. Okay. So that's it. So anything you enclose within the single quotes, that becomes as character literal or character constant. Within the single quotes, I enclose A and then it becomes a character constant. Within the single quotes, I just I enclose 5 within the single quotes. Now it's not a integer, it is a character literal. Okay. So within the single quotes, just plus, I write like this. So it is not an arithmetic operator now. It is a character literal. Okay. That's about char data type. So characters are internally represented as integers. So within the range of 0 to 255, in case it is signed -128 to +127. So in unsigned it is 0 to 255. The ASCII values are from 0 to 255, total 256 characters. So your lowercase letters, uppercase letters, digits, everything. One more important one is capital A, its ASCII value is 65. Small a, its ASCII value is 97. So these values you must remember. You can calculate what is the value of D or C something. 0 to 9 digits, their ASCII values also we have to remember. Okay, that's about the integer data type. So integers are nothing but numbers without fraction. You want to represent numbers with fraction, then we use the float data type, floating point numbers. A number with fraction, it is called as a floating point number. So in floating point, we have float type and as well as double type. So float type to represent single precision, double type to represent double precision. Precision here it means the number of digits after the decimal point. It is called as precision. So the format specifier for integers is %d, for character %c, and float %f. For double also we use %f, long double, capital LF we use. So small LF, capital LF we can use as a format specifier. So in a float type, just I will give some idea. The internal representation of float and double. So because there is some logical question, I give one question, I framed that. So for example, so float occupies 4 bytes, double occupies 8 bytes, and long double occupies 10 bytes. Okay. So the format specifiers for float format specifier is %f. Next one, double format specifier is %LF. In scientific notation, %e. So we use the mantissa and exponent notation, scientific notation, to represent very large numbers or very small numbers, and then we use the scientific notation, very easy to represent very large and very small numbers. Next one is long double type. So here the category is float type, floating point numbers, floating point data type. I will give the knowledge explore sessions on this. That's why I'm introducing this concept. You have to answer those questions. They are very logical. That's why first understand this concept. Long double, the format specifier for this long double is capital percentage, capital LF or percentage LE. So LE is scientific notation, Mantissa exponent form, LF general notation. Clear? For example, just float. I will give one example here. Every point is very logical. You just focus on it. Float x is equal to 245.37. Just I declared a float value. So if I ask 245.37 what type of value it is, everyone 99% of students they say that is float type. That is completely wrong. A number with a fraction by default it is considered as double type. Actually, it is a double type. You are assigning to float type. That's why some fraction part is discarded. So how to represent the float value as it is? You must use f. Clear? That's it. Actually, by default, a number with fraction it is considered to be as a double type, not float type. Okay. So based on this, there was a question asked in one of the renowned company interview. That question I will tell you. So float x equal to 240.37. For example, I use %f as a format specifier to print the value. Then what will be the output? So I use just I write the complete statement. You may get the understanding. Printf %f comma x. What will be the output? Here the output is 245.37. After the decimal point, 6 digits. It displays 6 digits. That is called single precision. Actually, we have only 2 digits. Then it adds 4 trailing zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is float type and single precision. I think you have got the idea what is a precision. After decimal point, how many places, how many values it will give you 6 values, 6 digits. That is called single precision. Clear? Same thing, I use scientific notation, Mantissa and exponent form. Then what will be the output? In place of f, I write %e. Okay, the output is. So here it shows the output in the form of Mantissa and exponent. So in Mantissa and exponent form, always the value is normalized. Normalized means, so left to the decimal point, there should be only one digit. That is called normalization. So every floating point you want to display any floating point number using the scientific notation, always the value is normalized. For example, I have to move this particular decimal point 2 places to the left. So then I get 2.4537. E is called exponent. You can represent with capital or small letter, no problem. E represents the value 10 plus 02 into 10 power 2. Now it is equal to this one, 245.37 something. Yes. So here after decimal point 6 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, E plus 2. That's it. It is called normalized form. If you print the value of 245.37 using scientific notation with %e, then it will normalize the value. After decimal point, 6 places, it will display 6 values. Single precision, then e is called the power exponent 10 power 10 power 2. So then it is equivalent to 245.370000. So it is called scientific notation. Is it clear? The difference between the normal general floating point number, printing the floating point number and using the scientific form. So for example, I can give some examples so that you can uh, write in scientific notations and all. Example, for example, 0.00247. Here I have some value 0.0027. After decimal point, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. So that's why if you print in a general form, then one trailing zero will be added. So I want to represent in scientific form. Then how to represent this one? So left to the decimal point, there should be only one digit, that is a non-zero digit. So that's why we have to move this particular decimal point 3 places to the right. Okay, that's why 2.47. Again, how many trailing zeros? 4 trailing zeros will be added. Next followed by E. Here it is minus 3. 10 power minus 3. Because you want to move this decimal point to the right. That's why the power of this exponent is negative. Okay. So that's it. If it is negative, so e power minus 3, that means dividing with 1000, then the point moves to the left, then you will get 0.00247. So if I use the format specifier percent %e, then this will be the output. Okay. Next, 0.247. What is the scientific representation of this one? So just you move the point to the right. 2.47, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 trailing zeros. E, again here minus 0, 1. So mantissa and exponent form and normalized form. Clear? Next one, 2.47. 2.47. Actually already it is in normalized form. Yes, left to the decimal point there is one non-zero value. That's why it is in the normalized form. If it is in normalized form, no need to do anything. Just add the trailing zeros, 4 trailing zeros. E, here the power is E plus 0, that's it. 10 power 0. No need to multiply with anything. Yes. Next, 2512.50 is equal to, here the decimal point, it is here. We have to move this decimal point 3 places to the left. Yes, then it will become 51250, 1 2 3 4 5 5 places, 2.5125 0, again 1 0, 1 2 3 4 5 6, E, so plus 0 3, that's it, plus 0 3. Clear? Scientific notation. Many students they don't go in detail about the scientific notation and general notation, but here is the clear explanation about %f and %e. If I use %f, what will be the output? Use %e, what would be the output? And what is the normalized form of this floating point number? And what is the mantissa exponent form? Okay. So I hope it's clear. So then we go for the knowledge explore sessions. Okay. Yes. Now just I open this my knowledge explore session. So you have to attempt those questions. Yes. Just I will open the knowledge explore session. every session is like this. It should be very interactive, and the problem solving, understanding the concepts, learning by examples. That is the actually the intention of this particular special class. I will discuss each and every concept from very basics, and I will make you very clear. No need to worry. You follow and practice those questions. Every day I will give the questions, knowledge explore sessions. That I call this as a knowledge explore session. So I will give the knowledge exploration section. First data types, then input output, then about control statements. Like we will discuss this one by one. Just all of you try to solve this. I open my knowledge exploring. All of you, can you see the screen? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now first question. Take your first question and attempt this. Question 1. So hash include stdio.h, conivo.h is the general structure of C program. Just in main, I declared a variable int a equal to 32,767 plus 2. Here I print the value of this a, %a, and what would be the output? This is the question. So yeah, answer this question. You can see the question on the screen. You can answer this question. Then I give my explanation. These type of questions are asked in some technical session, technical interviews and all. They won't ask you what is the size required for integer. Those type of questions will not be asked. Everything logical. Yet there is some logical issue. That's why they ask the question. Int a equal to 32,767 plus 2. Print the value of a. Here I used one format specifier %d. Okay, to print any value or a value of a variable, then we must use the format specifier. While reading the data or printing the data, we have to use the format specifiers. Okay, the data is of which format? Integer format or floating point format, like that. So to
Sir,
yeah,
sir, it is a long in, sir. We used only in.
yes.
Maybe
Then
it will
what
show.
happens? No compilation error. Good attempt. Yeah, so many students, they may think that this is a compilation error, but there is no compilation error at all. But it is out of range. Yes, I do agree. If it is an out of range value, then what it does? Compiler won't generate any error. It is not an error. Then what would be the output? That
Garbage value.
Garbage value. No. If you don't specify any value, then that variable holds some garbage value. But already you have given some value. That's why it is not garbage value. Yes.
Then it will print. Then it will summon. It will print the answer, sir.
What?
It will summon. It will sum the and it will print the answer.
It prints the answer, but it cannot hold. Na? Yes, integer. What is the
It's
range
the
of integer?
maximum range of integers.
Yes, it is out of range now. Minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. Because by default, if no modifier is specified here, it is a short int as well as signed int. What is the range of signed short int? Yes, let us consider for 16-bit system. It is 2 bytes now. The range
Yes,
is
sir.
minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. So if I add 32,767 plus 2, then what happens? The value will be 32,769, but it is out of range of integer. Am I right? So the value is out of the range of integer value, but I want to store that value inside the integer only. Then what happens?
Minus 32,766.
Yes, minus 32,766. Yes, that is the logic. Actually, what is the logic here? For any data type, if they ask any question like this, then you have to answer in one logical way. So actually what happens, it won't generate any compilation error. So first it will evaluate this one, because at the right side of assignment operator we have a expression that means addition operation. First it performs the addition operation, the value will be 32,769. So but a is of what type? Integer type. It cannot hold that value, it exceeds the, it is out of the range of this integer value. Then what it does, so in the positive range, it is out of the value, out of the range, then immediately it jumps to the negative range. Okay, clear? It oscillates between the positive range and negative range whenever the value exceeds that particular range. Okay, so but here the logic is, just I will show that one diagram. So always whenever these type of questions are asked, so you have to follow one logic. I will tell you. So in placement exams, and they will give these type of some logical questions. So just I will share the screen. I will show you how to answer these type of questions. Now I will explain one question. You have to answer the remaining. I will give these model questions, one or two. Just you can answer. So paintbrush, I draw the diagram. So you remember two logical points here to answer any type of this question. So visible this, is it visible the paintbrush, the diagram to all? I have already shared.
No, sir.
No, just I open that paint. Yes, MS Paint. I have shared that. You can see now. Yes, now it's visible. Yeah.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes, yes. Now I will tell you how to answer these type of logical questions from data types. In company interviews, they may ask this type of questions. Okay. Then how to answer this question? Very simple. First, the question is x equal to 32,769. Okay, na? So actually the value here they have given some int x equal to, for any data type you follow this approach, you can answer any question. 32,769. Am I right? Int x equal to 32,769. So first what happens? X is of what type? Integer type. That's why memory gets allocated for this variable. So actually it occupies how many bytes? Integer occupies 2 bytes. Let us suppose integer occupies only 2 bytes. Okay. The first byte address of any memory block, it is called its base address. So let us say the base address of this one is 1000. Here base address means the first byte address. Actually it occupies 2 bytes. First one is 1000, second one is 1001. So internal memory mapping. This is also important to understand the pointer concept actually. Okay. Yeah. Just I give the clear picture so that you may answer any type of questions. Here it is 1001. So here x is the name given to this particular memory location. A variable is a name given to the memory location. So here is a block of memory. The name of this memory block is x. Okay, na? Clear? What is the address of x? The base address of this particular x is 1000. The first byte address of the block is called as the base address, or in general I say that we call it as address of the variable. Okay, na? Clear? So here the value, what value it should store? First what happens when you declare a variable and assign a value, first it checks this particular value. Is it within the range of this particular data type? Int x na? So but it is not the range, it is not in the range of this particular one. But it is a positive value, am I right? So if it is a positive value, then start from 0 and count in the clockwise direction. Clear? Count in the clockwise direction. For example, 0, next it is 1, next it is 2. Okay. So up to 32,767, it is positive range. So again in the negative range, we have -1. So this diagram you have to draw for any type of question you can answer, either signed or unsigned or anything. Okay, just I will draw, because it is on board it is very easy, but here it is difficult to draw this one. Anyway, always 0 in the middle, so left to 0, -1, -2. So in anti-clockwise direction we count the negative numbers. Okay, that is the basic principle. In clockwise direction we count the positive numbers. So here it is -1. Actually it is -1, not -2. It is -2. Here it is -1. -1. What happened? I cannot delete this one. Okay. Yeah. So this is the diagram to represent this particular integer range. So in integer, it is a signed integer. That's why. So 0 to 32,667 in positive values, and -1 to -32,768 negative values. Okay. So negative values counting in the anti-clockwise direction, positive values counting in the clockwise direction. Clear? So that is the general convention we consider. For example, 32,769, it is a positive number. So that's why start from 0, count this number in clockwise direction. It is in clockwise direction, na? So in clockwise direction we reach up, we reach 32,767. But this value exceeds this value, this particular value. So the maximum positive number you can represent in this particular signed integer, it is 32,767. But the value here is 32,769. Then what happens? So after 32,767, adding +1, it jumps to the minimum value in the negative range. Understand? So it is like a circle. In this circle, in clockwise direction, we represent all the positive numbers. In negative direction, represent all the negative numbers. Okay. So when you are assigning a positive value to a variable, so you count these values in the clockwise direction. If it exceeds the range, and it jumps to the negative range. Understood? So 32,767, add 1, it jumps to here. That means now 32,768, that is equivalent to -32,768. Understand? But there is no error. The compiler, it jumps from negative to positive, positive to negative if the value exceeds. So here, so I add 1 plus 1, that means 32,768, that is equivalent to -32,768. Good. Again, here it is +2. Okay. Next value +3. Clear? So the value is 32,769. So here it is 67, add 1, -32,768, add again 1, it is -2, 32,767. That's why here inside the x, what value it gets stored here? -32,767. Understand? Okay. So in case it is a char data type, then 0 here, -128 here. Sorry, 0 here, +127 is here, and from -1 up to -128 here. Same logic. If it is a signed unsigned data type, then 0, 32,067 up to 65,535. Okay, na? That is the scenario. Like this, you have to answer the questions. Clear? So that's why. What is the answer for this question? Very simple. I share the screen. Now we check the answer. Yes. The output is -32,737. Sorry, 767. Is it clear? All of you? Next. Attempt the second one, same logic, but here now this time in anti-clockwise direction. So minus 32,768 is the minimum value you can represent in the integer variable. Okay na? Clear? But it is out of this range na. The what is the value of this one? Minus 32,769, but it is out of the range in negative numbers. Then what happens? So in anti-clockwise direction, just you count the values in anti-clockwise direction. I take the same diagram and let us analyze this one. Let us analyze this one. This. So actually, so now the value is minus 32,769. Yes. This time what is the value? Actually x is equal to minus 32,768 minus 2. This is the question. Okay. First this operation is going to be performed. The value is minus 32,769. So it is a negative value. So x again memory gets allocated for the variable x. Then what value x will hold? So very simple. First it checks this range. Okay. So it is a negative value. That's why starting from 0 in anti-clockwise, it is going to count here. Okay. Minus 1, minus 2. So what is the minimum value that can be represented in this integer type? Minus 32,768. Again, subtract minus 1. Then what happens? It jumps to the maximum value of the positive range. Okay. Now why? Because in anti-clockwise, you are counting all these values. Once I reach minus 32,768, you subtract 1, then automatically it jumps to the maximum value of the positive range. Okay. Again subtract again 1, then its equivalent value is minus 32,766. Okay now. So equivalent value, then it will find the equivalent value, it stores that particular value. Now x will hold 32,766. If you print the value, you will get that output. Clear? That is the logic. That's it. Similar for any question, that is the logic. So first you remember the ranges and draw that circle, and you check the value. If it is positive value, so in a clockwise direction you count it. If it exceeds that, find its equivalent negative value. So if it is a negative value, count in anti-clockwise direction. If it exceeds the range, then jump to the positive values, find the equivalent positive value and store that value. Okay. Yes. So that is the logic. Now using this particular logic, we will answer some more questions, logical questions here. So next one, yeah, what will be the output? 32,766. Good. Next example, unsigned int a equal to minus 1. In this case, what happens? Yeah, answer this question. Any queries up to this? Okay. Data types, you can type your queries, anything you can ask.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, in the previous question that which you told negative numbers to that cycle, basically in the online compilers it won't take that, like it is taking the next values also.
No, that online compiler, it may be a 32-bit compiler or 64-bit compiler, because I am discussing this in 16-bit compiler. Okay. Actually, if it is a 32-bit compiler or 64-bit compiler, integer it occupies 4 bytes actually. That's why it is taking the value, but it's not. Understood?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, that is the logic. Actually, generally, these ranges, what I discussed, that is for 16-bit computer. If it is a 32-bit computer or 64-bit computer, then integer occupies 4 bytes. That's why the size is not fixed for integer, but carry is same. It is a 62-bit or a 64-bit or 32-bit. Any computer, the char value, the char variable, it occupies only 1 byte. Okay, na? Because only the ASCII values are 0 to 255. So integer, that range it changes. depending on the compiler, that 16-bit or 32-bit or 64-bit. Okay, these problems I have given the context of 16-bit computer. Clear? Okay.
Yes.
You can do one thing. There, your actually, if it is it takes 4 bytes, na. So you give one out of the range of that one and check it. Clear? Then you will get similar kind of output. I think it is okay. Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Here, unsigned int a equal to -1. Actually, it is out of the range for unsigned integer. Na? Unsigned integer, it takes only non-negative values, 0 and positive values. But here I am assigning which value? -1, which is out of the range. Then what happens? Again, same logic.
Maximum value of integer.
So actually in unsigned 0 to 65,535, na? Okay. But here, what is the value I am assigning? -1. If it is -1, what it does? Start from 0 and count in the, you count in anti-clockwise. Am I right? The immediate next left value of 0 is the -1 value. What is its equivalent positive value? 65,535. Are you clear? You draw the circle, start from 0, middle value is 32,767 and the last is 65,535. Am I right? So I am assigning a negative value to unsigned integer. That's why counting is in anti-clockwise direction. Here -1 is equivalent to which one? 65,535. So my answer is correct. Yes, same logic. So the output is 65,535. You can draw that diagram for signed for unsigned value and you can analyze. Unsigned integer 65,535 plus 1. So it is exceeding the range. Am I right? Then what happens? It is a positive number. That's why start from 0 and count in the clockwise direction. Am I right? So when you count in the clockwise direction, 65,535, once the counting is complete, again it jumps to the next value, which is nothing but 0. Are you clear? You can draw the diagram, you can understand. I will share and I will show that how to analyze this one also. In case of unsigned values, how to analyze this? Just I will give you that idea. Here it is 32,737, no problem. But here this value is 65,535. Eraser. So in unsigned values, how to answer this type of questions? Yes, same, but it is unsigned. That's why only positive numbers. It takes only positive numbers. So that's why what is the range? Up to 65,535. Okay, 65,535. So what is the number? Just before this one, 65,534. 65,534. Okay, that's it. Now in the first question, unsigned integer x equal to -1. Here it is out of the range for the signed integer. Yes, negative values are not allowed now. Okay. So if it is out of range and a negative number, then what should I do? Start from 0, you count in the anti-clockwise direction. If I count in anti-clockwise direction, the immediate left value, it is nothing but equivalent to -1. Am I right? What is the equivalent -1 value in signed integer? 65,535. Okay. So here it is -2. If it is a negative number, count in anti-clockwise direction, find its equivalent number. That you assign that number to the variable. That's it. For example, in the next question, 65,535 plus 1 they have given. So that is 65,536, but it is also out of range. Yes, but start from 0, start counting in the clockwise direction. So you start counting in the clockwise direction. So maximum value is 65,535. So again add 1 to this 65,535, then I will be here, and that is equal to plus 0. Sorry, that is equal to 0. So in clockwise direction, after 65,535, if we add 1, then it becomes 0. That means 65,536, that equal to 0. 65,537, that equal to 1. 65,538, that equal to 2. Because it is a positive value, that's why count in clockwise direction. If it is a negative number, count in anti-clockwise direction, find its equivalent value. Is it clear? Okay. So whenever any question is asked, first draw the circle. Clear? Represent the values. Then check this particular value. If it is out of the range, if it is positive, negative, appropriately you just count either in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction, find its equivalent value, assign the value to that particular variable, then print it. Is it clear? Okay, that is the logic. So this type of logical questions are asked most frequently. So next, answer the next question. Next question. Yes. Can you see the next question? Question number 5. Char A, CH is equal to A, printf percent D, printf percent C, CH. So it's a very simple question. You can answer. So actually within the single quotes, you enclose anything that is a character literal. So you are assigning A to character CH and printing the value of CH using the percent D modifier. Sorry, percent D is format specifier. Then what happens? It prints the ASCII value. Okay, na? So if you print any character using percentage D format specifier, it prints its equivalent ASCII value. What is the equivalent ASCII value of A? 65. Good. Actually, CH is a character variable. That's why if you use percentage C as a format specifier, it prints the actual character. Understood? So that's why the output is 65 comma A. 65 and A is the output. Okay. Next, similar type of problem. So I assign 65 to CH. Directly you can assign an integer to a character. Then what happens? So first its equivalent ASCII character will be stored in CH. 65 is the ASCII value of capital A. That's why CH will hold the value capital A. Okay. So I print percentage CH, it prints that ASCII value 65, percentage CH, it prints capital A. Okay. Either you can define a character literal within the single quotes, assign it to a variable, or else you can directly assign a ASCII value to the character variable. Okay, na? So internally, these character literals are represented as integers only. So if I assign any integer value, then its equivalent character, it will be stored in this particular variable. But you can use percent D or percent T, any of the format specifiers. So if I use percent D, it prints the equivalent ASCII value. If I use percent C, it prints that actual character. I hope it is clear. Yes. Next question. So char CH is equal to /n, printf percent D CH. It prints the equivalent ASCII value. Okay. For any character variable, if I use percent D format specifier, it prints it equivalent ASCII value. I told you the ASCII value of /n is 10. So that's why the output is 10. Next question. So this one, percent T1, percent C3, percent C4. Actually, whenever you use percent C as a format specifier, it takes this one as a ASCII value. It interprets that it has to print equivalent character for this ASCII value of this number. Okay. So I want to print percent C1. Then it prints the character equivalent to this ASCII value 1. The character equivalent to ASCII value 1 is the smile face. So next, the character equivalent to the ASCII value 3 is heart symbol, 4 diamond symbol. If you type this program, you will get that same output. You can check it. Just 1 is the ASCII value of smile face, 3 is the heart, 4 is the diamond value. Okay. Next one, char ch equal to 131, printf percentage ch. Then what is the output? Everyone getting? Analyze this and answer the question.
3.
3 percentage ch. Yeah. First see this whether it is signed or unsigned char. If no modifier is specified, then automatically it is by default signed. Am I right? Okay. But character there is no modifier short and long. Okay na? Short to long they can be applicable for integer type only, but signed and unsigned they can be applicable for char and integer type. But signed and unsigned it is not applicable for float type. Clear? So it is a signed one and it is a number 131. Again same logic. So it exceeds the range of the positive value. So you can represent minus 128 to up to plus 127. Na? So it is exceeding the range of 127. Then what happens? 127 plus 1, which is equal to minus 128. It jumps to the negative range. Am I right? Minus 128, 127 plus 1, which is equal to minus 128. Then how many values we have to add? So 127 plus, I think it is 3 plus 1, 4. Yes. 127 plus 1, 128, 129, 130, 131, 4. Yeah. So minus 128, minus 127, minus 126, minus 125 is the answer. Getting? It exceeds
Sir, but char should not be negative, no, sir.
Char should
Char
not be
cannot-
negative. Yes, but it is a equivalent decimal value, na? I am printing. Sorry, ASCII value, na? Sorry, it is a 131. It is an integer, but it is a signed char, na? Minus 128 to plus 127. Actually, if you print this %c of ch, it prints one character. Actually, characters are always positive only, 0 to 255. But internal representation is integers. It is a signed char. That's why equivalent value is minus 125. But there is no character for that minus 125 ASCII value. Am I right? Then which value it will print? Very simple. Subtract this minus 125 from 256. You will get a positive value, na? That is nothing but complement value. That equivalent ASCII value it will print. Getting? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if I print %d, which is nothing but a format specifier to print its integer form, that's why it will print minus 125. But if I print %ch, then what happens? It finds the complement of that particular one using 256 and it prints that equivalent ASCII character. Okay. So that is the logical point. Next you can see
Sir,
here. Yeah.
sir, it goes to value, sir. Then we want to count that from clockwise, no, sir.
Yes, clockwise you can count it, but what is the range? Minus 128 to plus 127. Na? You count in clockwise, it is a signed char, you observe. Okay. So 127, 0 to 127, we count in the clockwise direction. After 127, you add 1, then what happens? It jumps to the negative range, minus 128. Am I right? Got the idea?
Yes.
Yeah. Again, add one more plus 1, it equal to minus 127. Again 1, it is equal to minus 126, like that. Clear? Because it is a signed char. Next example is on unsigned char, you can see. Because here 0 to 255 values you represent with unsigned char. Am I right? But it is out of range, na? Ch equal to minus 1. Then what happens? Start from 0, start counting in the anti-clockwise direction. Then minus 1 is obviously equal to which value? 255. Is it clear? So that's why the output is 255. I hope is it clear? Okay. So how to calculate the ranges? What happens if it is out of the range? There is no error, no garbage value. So its equivalent value the compiler, it finds that equivalent value and it assigns to that value to the variable. If you print, you will get that value. Okay, na? So always it oscillates between this particular negative range and positive range. If negative range it exceeds, then it jumps to the maximum value of the positive range. If positive range exceeds, it jumps to the minimum value of the negative range. Okay, again it counts from there. Clear? That is the logic. So this is about signed, unsigned, and all these, and floating point values. Double means double precision. After decimal point, maybe more than 6 places, 8 to 12 places. It will consider 8 to 12 places. Okay, clear? So that is about the primitive data types, and these are the logical questions very frequently asked in the company recruitments and in interviews. Okay, na? Simply they give you what will be the output of this particular code, and this one characters, it's ASCII values. These are the logical questions asked in the many of these program at examination. Okay, yes.
Sir, still I can't understand that question 9, sir. Can you
Question
explain by diagram?
question number
Question number
9.
9.
Question number 9. What is
Can
this character? Okay, okay, I will draw. Don't worry. I will see the question and I will draw. CH equal to 131. Na? This is the question. Char CH equal to 131. Printf percentage CH. Am I right? Which question?
Yes, sir, that question only, sir.
131. Okay, I will explain through the diagram. You can understand very easily. Okay.
Sir.
Just I will open the paintbrush because I am not so good at drawing. And one more thing, it is very difficult to draw in paintbrush. That's why. Just I delete all this and I will redraw this one. Where is the deletion? Select and delete. Na? Select. Okay. Select and clear this. Delete. Okay. Now again I redraw this diagram. Just now this time we are just answering the question on char. So just let me take the range of the character is minus 128 to plus 127. So here is 0, 127 minus 128. Here it is 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, minus 128. Okay, good. Range of values. Here it is 0. Next is 1, 0, 1. Here it is 2. What is the maximum value I can represent in signed 127 plus 127. Here the minimum value in the negative range is minus 128. Again it is minus 127 minus 127. Next one is okay. Here it is minus 2. Again it is minus 1. Yes. This diagram is clear now? Okay. I have shared it. Not shared yet. Share it. Yes, this diagram it is visible na, all of you. Okay, so char ch is equal to 131. Good, this is the question. Okay, now first see that value which is 131. It is a positive value, that's why we start counting in the clockwise direction. Am I right? ch equal to 131. So 0 to 127 is the positive values. You can represent in char, unsigned char. So but it is out of the range 131. Am I right? So after 127 you add 1, then immediately it jumps to minus 130, 128. Clear? That is the general scenario.
Sir, now I understood, sir.
Now understood?
Yes,
Because
sir.
in positive, in clockwise direction, once you exceed that, then it jumps to the minimum value of the negative 1, plus 1. Then you will be here. So what is the equivalent value of that one? Minus 128. It oscillates. Okay. Again it is plus 2. Okay. Like that. How many values you have to add? Up to you will get minus 125. That's it. Clear? That's how
Thank you, sir.
we have to calculate. So all of you, please practice the questions related to this one, an online some quiz or something. Okay. So any queries you can ask me in tomorrow's class. Okay. So almost all I have covered all the logical points regarding the data types, in especially in company placements, in placement exams and technical interviews. They ask these type of questions. Okay, na? Clear? So you practice these questions, and in tomorrow's session, so we are going to discuss input output, printf as scanf. Printf simply it prints. No, there are many issues, many things to be learned for printf and scanf. Okay, so I will discuss those logical points on printf and scanf statements tomorrow, and then we are going to see the operators and its logical points. Some operators you never focus, I think, like comma operator. There is one operator called comma operator. So increment decrement operators, they are a bit confusing, because in one compiler it gives different output, in another compiler it may give another different output. Then which one we have to consider? That is the actually major challenging question. Then if that type of question was asked, then how to answer that question and how to solve those type of problems. Actual the C compiler, how it does. These topics tomorrow I'm going to cover. These are the basics with some logical explanations. So your attendance, sir has taken, or who is taking your attendance? No attendance.
Don't know, sir.
I don't know. Almost all are present, na? Most of the people they are all present, I hope. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So tomorrow at 7:30, again we start the session. Tomorrow some other logical points I will discuss. Before that, you practice this, and that PPT I have to share it later on. So anyway, you just practice the questions tomorrow. Any queries you ask me regarding this primitive data types, int, float, char and all. Okay, na? Clear? Okay, just we stop the session for today here itself, and tomorrow we will be discussing some other concepts. Okay. Any other queries and questions you can ask me when the topic is going on. Okay, you practice it and ask me. I will answer the questions. So your entire session will be like this. First I introduce the concept, I discuss the logical points, then I will give this type of problem analysis based questions, and you learn by that example, so that you can remember forever. Instead of discussing the theory part, it is better. Okay. So that's it. Let us close the session for today. Okay, it's already 9. Yeah. Okay, good night. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.